What's up, people? So, the news of today, basically, or yesterday's news, as will it be, once this video is out, was about marijuana legalization for recreational and medicinal use in Ohio. It's the 2015 elections for those of y'all who don't understand or that weren't aware of that. It's the 2015 elections. 2016 is next year, obviously. You have elections sometimes on off years. And one of the ballot proposals was for marijuana legalization in Ohio. So it failed, but go ahead and look at this video and get a little background, and I'll see you on the other side.
It's all about the green in Ohio today. The growing, smoking, and spending kind. And it's the cash that's causing controversy. For the first time in America, voters can say yes to legalizing medical and recreational marijuana at the same time. In Ohio, it's called Issue 3. But if they do, commercial growing rights would go to just 10 predetermined farms owned by, you guessed it, investors in the campaign to legalize the cash crop.
I'm Nick Lachey. Ohio is my home, and I care very deeply about the people here.
All right, so the first thing, right, is fucking Nick Lachey. Like, out of all spokesperson for marijuana legalization in Ohio, it's Nick Lachey. Really? If you had somebody like decently cool, like they spent all this money on campaigning. They spent $25 million on campaigning. And they didn't have anybody with all that money to think like maybe we should get somebody cool to represent marijuana. Like they had the fucking goofy ass mascot. Like, but motherfuckers ain't kids. Like, yeah, people should be worried about if that's being marketed to kids. Cause that shit looks like something for kids. Like, these are fucking adults making decisions. Yeah, they're potheads, but they're adults. So that's the first thing that they went wrong was with Nick Lachey. Also, it was the whole thing about how all this is concentrated in very few hands. Now, we can make a point that for most of politics or any time marijuana is trying to be legalized, you're gonna have most of the power being in very few hands. But it's the fact that they put it out there, and at least that information got out there, I think pretty early, was a big deterrent. Also, I think another deterrent for why this didn't get passed is that I think this kind of takes away from the whole idea of marijuana, how, a lot of people think of it more as like a communal type drug. And like the fact that it's being put in very few hands and being super commercialized, I think just rubs people the wrong way. I think especially people who use marijuana, I think that they typically have a different way of thinking about things, and I think that's gonna that kind of pulls them away. And when you don't have the majority of all marijuana users on the side of a ballot issue, it's not going to get passed. Even if you do have all of them on your side, it's rarely going to get passed. But if you have them fragmented, like what this bill created or this proposal, it's going to be even harder to get this passed. And the last thing I want to say is that why for marijuana legalization are we not having people that talk about all the people that are in jail having, spending years of their lives for a joint, or for an ounce of marijuana that's for personal use, or even somebody sick who went to jail? Why are we not focusing on fixing our current laws and how it interacts with marijuana? I mean, I know we have to legalize it first, but why aren't these proponents of legalization discussing that issue? That's a huge issue, but it's getting left off every time we talk about marijuana. So how about somebody for a change talk about how the justice system is directly linked to the war on drugs? Why don't we talk about that, and maybe we can look at all drugs differently? So that's where I want to leave that. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys next time.